Morning, Bobby. Hey, as requested, as a follow-up to your Tam the Bunnet the other morning there, here's another one for Hugh Waters, same book that you showed the punters, Still Flows the Burns. This poem's called All the Waster. I hope I got better with the words than I do with the title. It goes like this. He ran along demented. He was nearly out his mind. His coat was flapping wildly and fleeing out behind. Through sweat bleared in along the street, he cast a hurried glance to where his bus, the last that night, was waiting at the stands. His elbows pounded on his ribs, his legs like pistons thrust. It seemed his lungs was full of son and ready for to burst. There was a time when Sickadash would just a made him grin. But like a thief, strang drinking fags had robbed him o' his win. Oh, well, had you but listened mair when sage advice was given, had you no ta'en the wheel-paved road that leads to easy living, but trod the narrow, stony path in search o' life's great treasures? What made you turn, as turn you did, in search o' wanton pleasures? A ball was your dearest friend, afore all it came first. It gave you courage, loused your tongue, and it quenched your burning thirst. Your greatest gift was gambling, a talent you acquired, and easy money was the creed that all your life inspired. Ambition? Well, you'd loads of that. To live a life o' ease, to call nae man your master, and be idle if you please. Nae time had you to work and slave, for you had things to do. You had your dugs, your football pools, and signing on the brew. Time was too good to waste on toil. You had your pals to meet, to criticise the council and to lounge about the street. Or you had to pick your horses and wage war on every boss, poke fun at the police and to play at pitch and toss. You'd a wife and 3 small wains, sae lovable and braw, but time or money spent on name was pleasure thrown awa. Among the Neds, you called your pals. You were a king o' men, but very near a stranger in your ain but and ben. The gap between man and bus grew less. Success seemed his to claim. Another tortured burst o' speed and he'd be driven hame. Alas, success, like womenfolk, is fickle and unfair, for in a flash her smile can turn to a cold and icy stare. And just when Wull made up his mind he'd make it after all, amidst a blast o' diesel fumes, the last bus cooed awa. And as the tail light disappeared into the dark o' night, Wull gave a curse, for he was in a most unhappy plight. Too lang a revel with his pals, too swift the time had flown, and now he faced a 5-mile trek down country roads alone. The thought of trudging all that street was far frae Wully's liking, for what Wull hated most o' all was only a form o' hiking. The walk itself was bad enough, an ample theme for cursing, but the weather, it was turning bad and threatening to worsen. And sae a maist unhappy Wull on maist unsteady feet set out with tottering, faltering steps to trek the 5-mile beat. The storm set in with real intent, the wind a tempest blew, and for every year that Wull advanced it carried him back too. The rain streamed like a cataract that o'er a mountain spews. It ran down Wully's trousers and it filled his pinted shoes. But onward he advanced, in spite o' nature's wiles, until he'd covered, in his strides, a distance o' 3 miles. The rain dreeped off his bonnet skip, it trickled down his nose, the icy chill o' sudden clays his very marrow froze. But shelter loomed afore his een. He'd ston a blow yon brig, catch his breath, smoke a fag, and hae a quiet swig, for in the pocket of his coat there hung a welcome weight. His carry-out would soon relieve the misery o' his state. Oh, a bevy is the very thing to boost a man's resistance. But wait, that noise above the storm, a rumbling in the distance. He listened most intently as the noise and volume grew, then grinned. Nae mair he'd hae to walk, for weel the sound he knew. He could have jumped for very joy, sae great was his elation, as soon he spied, advancing fast, some form of transportation. He waved his bonnet in the air. "Hey, he's a lift!" he cried, and he heard the screech o' skiting wheels as brakes were fast applied. It was a bus o' strange design. Its paint was jettis black. The lichts gied out a neary glow, and flames flew out the back. He couldn't see the inside wheel, for it was darkest gloom, but the number plate at front and back spelt out the word o' doom. Without a soon, the door slipped back. Wally skipped aboard. The bus drave off. The door slammed shut. Outside the storm roared. He rubbed the water fae his een, and he shook his dreeping coat. And then he looked about that eerie bus, and a scream died in his throat. In every seat a figure sat, a figure of despair. But what shoot Wull? 'Twas all his pals that sat with vacant stare. Fat Jimmy Dodds, a Polish nark, ratted on his brother, and every Friday night got fou and knocked hell out his mother. Ned Dundas, drunken bum, he liked to boast and brag how he'd pinched the pension out his blind old auntie's bag. Big Don McTurk, the Highlander, the lads all call him Kilty. 3 times they cheered him with assault, 3 times they found him guilty. And there, of course, was Sailor Smith, who was married 14 times, had sunk 3 boats and smuggled dope and superficial crimes. Rab the Rat, who seldom washed and thought that he was gifted because he'd kicked a bloke to death and never had been lifted. Stilty Jones, Joe the Wop, and blinking Tam McGinney, and Bobby Jess, who just last week had been inside Barlinnie. All Will's pals were gathered there, a loathsome congregation, the sweepings of the human race you find in every nation. Nae glint o' recognition showed, and no a word was spoken. Will swallowed hard and tried to grin. Was this some kind of joking? But yet his flesh began to creep, his hair to stand on end, the vacant stairs and glassy een. He couldna comprehend. A skinny horn his shoulder tapped. Wull spun up on his heel, and there a hint another stood that Wullie kenned full weel. That look o' everlasting pain that stamped that face sae vile, the eyes that burned with red-hot coals, the evil, bestial smile, the yelly, pinted, slavering fangs that crunched and ground with hate, the horns, the tail, the cloven hoofs, nae man could imitate. Its finger thrust afore Wull's face, like talon after prey. Wull tried to move, but terror struck. His feet would not obey. "What do you want with me?" he cried. "Stop and let me off!" The evil grin was broadened to a mocking, hollow laugh. "Come now, Wull, we've just bit met. Why should I let you gang? Besides, we're going to a place we both belong. You've lived a life of idle ease, enjoyed the world's desires. You've passed the test that leads to rest and everlasting fires." Oh, with heartfelt sobs that shook his frame, Wull dropped on bended knee, and lying hard harangued the deal with solemn, hopeless plea. "Just one mere chance to mend my ways, and know I've been a flop, but bell the driver o' the bus, command him for to stop. The same old story, sneered the deil. Lay off your whining fuss. It's you, my friend, should ken full weel. There naebody drives this bus. When travelling on the road o' sin that leads a man to hell, you need nae driver at the wheel, it's you that drives yoursel. Wull grovelled on the filthy flare, and he bubbled like a wane. His hoose, his wife, his family, he would never see again. He only had himself to blame. The good times he had prized had brought about his sorry end, had he but realised. Then suddenly there came a calm. The wind nae langer sighed. The icy rain had ceased to fall. Outside the storm died, and through a hole in torn cloud the moon had seized her chance to bathe the night in silvery light and nature's work enhance. It showed the stately dripping trees, the grasses and the moss. It lit the road afore the bus in one gigantic cross. The deil let out an anguished scream. With pain his face was drawn. The vision of that hated cross he dared not gaze upon. He dived for cover frae its sicht. The bus came to a halt, and Wull was flung against the door with sic a sickening jolt. With trembling Horne he pulled the catch. The door he gave a wrench, and he flung himself off that bus into a wayside trench. And there Wull lay and prayed aloud upon the marshy ground. Then, struggling for his hiding place, he had a look around. Of bus, or deil, or wastrel pals, there was nae ony sign. But the memory o' that nicht would never leave his mind. Weel, that's my tale. The rest you'll guess. It's no my job to preach, but true or false, whate'er it be, there's something here for each. Like Wull, we're all inclined to seek what pleasures life advances, but unlike Wull, there few o' us get ony second chances. Thank you, and stay safe, my friends.